Once you start drinking, your body builds up what we call tolerance. You start becoming dependent on this. And then Jane, every day when she comes from work, she'll say, you know what will hurt me? Having, just a half glass of wine every night. And because it's festive season, everybody's in a happy mood. Everybody's in a jolly mood. We are celebrating Thanksgiving. And, how much is enough? That's the main question. Stop.
Okay, so how much is enough?
So we always say it's a one tot, one glass, one cider, one beer, depending on the alcohol content of that particular alcohol beverage that you're taking. Don't take it on an empty stomach. Drink water. Have something to eat so that you can balance your body, because why? It does actually alters how your brain functions. And when you do drink, always look at how much is enough for you. If one glass is enough for you, listen to your body.
How do you know when you've got a problem?
When you actually cannot stop drinking every day, that's when you start seeing the problem. When it actually impacts on your family responsibility financially, in terms of your work as well, where you're beginning to be late at work, always borrowing money at work, always not your hygiene, you're not looking good as well, and you are stopping to actually do things that you love the most. Hanging around people that care for you, that love you, you're always aggressive at times. We've seen those kind of behaviors.
Lies come in.
Yes, dishonesty, coming through. I'm going to a shop, yet you're not going there, you're going to a bottle store. So those are some of the things that you can start to actually trace for yourself.
If you know that somebody is on the slippery slope and you can see it, what should you do?
We always say come from an empathetic perspective, not from a sympathetic perspective. Don't come from a judgmental perspective, because substance use disorder, it is a chronic brain disease. In other words, as much as we're treating your cancer, your sugar diabetes, your high blood pressure, as well as your heart diseases, it's not curable but treatable. So we need to actually empathize and be able to understand what actually is addiction in our communities. Main thing with alcohol, specifically in particular, is actually developing what we call the liver cirrhosis. So liver cirrhosis got different stages. It's the scarring of your liver due to the fact that you have been drinking over excessively of alcohol. What people always don't understand is that you can, on a long run, start to develop dementia. And that's something that we've actually seen. People start not hearing well, your eyesight becomes problematic as well. You start to develop heart issues, you start to lose a lot of weight, and you start to become forgetful. For younger people, we always say that your reproductive system actually also changes. You might not actually have kids, so you need to also look into certain things like that. For women who are pregnant, we have what we call a fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, whereby then the children, when they actually are born, they will be born with certain dysfunctionality that will actually prevent them from actually having cognitive, ability when they actually go to school. So those are some of the side effects and some of the signs and the symptoms that one can develop when you actually don't actually take care of yourself and drink responsibly.
When it comes to underage drinking, I mean, it's a big and a sad reality. What should parents do? What should we be looking out for? What's the message to our kids? Do you say, don't drink tonight? Is that the worst thing to say?
No, it's not. However, we are seeing that kids are drinking. That's the reality. And I think what's important is the messaging that you as a parent are going to carry out. How are you going to position that messaging? You can't come to a child and say, don't drink. Of course, then you're giving them,
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we often say is, tell me what you understand about drinking alcohol. What have you heard? What is your understanding? Because mommy or daddy wants to actually, have the discussion with you. Make it more a homey kind of discussion. Make it more friendly. Don't make it too formal. Make it informal.
And I guess as a parent, you should also lead by example. So if you're coming home every night and drinking every night, it's not a good message.
Not at all. We always say that there's a word that says you do what I say, not what I do. And a lot of parents love saying that. And the reality is kids will always copy you. They'll always mimic what you do. Even when you restrict, when you put boundaries for your kids, you need to make sure that you're not depriving them, but actually taking them through those discussions of why you are doing what you're doing, so that even if they don't understand, but they know you love them. That's the most important one.
So the good news is your body can heal.
Yes.
Tell us what happens from the day that you give up.
The day that you give up is a mental thing, again. That's where every change comes through. So when you say, I'm giving up, please don't go cold turkey. So we do advise people to please go to your nearest community clinic, see a GP, see a nurse in your community to actually say, this has been my lifestyle and I would like to actually stop drinking or I'd like to stop using drugs. And that's where the actual beginning of recovery begins.
If we can crawl into the body, what happens there when you give up?
You start to glow. We're starting to see you actually become more vibrant, and you're starting to gain more weight, which is very positive. And you started to concentrate more. You are focused more. You are actually we're building your resilience, as in treatment. So your self-efficacy is quite important, and your positive self-talk, your self-care. You start to actually live to your sobriety on a day-to-day basis. That's why they say if you can't take one day at a time, then take one step at a time. And that's basically what happens to your body as well when you allow it to heal, when you allow it to be restored into health.
So what's the message over this festive season?
Remember, you've only got one body. So in order for it to rejuvenate, you have to allow it to heal and you have to give it time.